Mary Me, Annie here, and the question this evening is to cast or not to cast. I have been watching many wonderful videos, and the topic is whether one casts or does not cast a circle, whether one needs to, or indeed whether one is required to. I don't know the original person who started this thread. I put VR at the beginning of the topic for this video because I am responding to so many of your videos. But I don't know who the first person was who started the conversation. Thank you to all of you for really some very interesting videos on this topic. I think it's one of those where we each have our own way. We don't need to be telling anybody what to do. But some people can learn by what each of us individually does. I certainly have been very moved, especially by those of you who have done videos who are different than me. I cast constantly. I am a serious caster of circles. It is part of who I am spiritually. And when those of you who don't, or rarely do, explain why, and the power and the passion and the emotion of the reasons that you have no need for casting a circle, God bless you, it's very inspiring, very moving. Then again, brothers and sisters who have shared that they do, maybe something similar to me, but if not similar to me, at least similar in the sense they feel the need to cast a circle. I feel a kinship with you there. But even then I'm finding that the kinship can be interesting, because we may cast circles, but we may cast circles for very different reasons. Many of the videos I saw of those who, like me, are casters, do it because they are feeling the need to be protected. I've never felt the need to be protected from anything out there. My studies and my relation to my gods and to the elements and my guardians there have put me in a place for a long time of feeling inviolate. I don't feel frightened by anything that I run into. I feel curious by, and I may be attracted to or repelled by things I run into, but I'm not frightened by anything. And so some people who on the surface may be very much like me are casting circles as a protection. I don't do that, but I've been asked by people who know how I do my circles. If you're not about protecting yourself from something, why do you have guardians at your portals? Well, one of the reasons I cast circles is to work with the energy of the elements, the elementals, at a powerful and condensed place. A place where they're pure at their energetic level and separate from the other energies around them. I like to work in a circle, which is kind of like, at some point, a magnifying glass that brings everything into a honed focus. I may use that energy right there in the circle. I may choose to send it out to be available to myself later, or to affect some cause, to work magics on some level. And I believe that my guardians are established at the portals to be the steam valve, to make sure that when I call on, for instance, fire, I'm getting exactly what I need of fire and no more of what I need of fire. I like working in that laboratory, in a sense, and being within the walls of a circle in that sense. I'm also very Wiccan, as you know, and I like my circles to be set outside place and time. It doesn't mean that I can't do any of the workings I choose to do, from the adoration of my gods to workings of prayer and spell work, just on the moment, no matter where I am, just standing on the ground and opening my arms to the moon, gathering up the energies, for instance, of the waters where I live now, and working some magics on the moment, just because I want to. I am moved to do it. But the setting aside, the ritual of setting aside, the magic circle, not of this time or place, is very important to me. A lot of the work that I do is work at the etheric level. And I truly believe that when I create that inside my cast circle, the portal between worlds, that I put that out into the etheric. My beliefs just happen to be that this side then strives to live up to what I have put out there. That work for me is best done in a circle. Also, the idea of setting aside a separateness from the busyness, from the mundane, from the noise of life, of not being there. Puts aside special time to adore my gods, to welcome them into a place that for that time, it's just them and me. Yes, that can happen at any point in my life. But when I go into the casting of the circle mode, my mind, my body, my spirit, we step into this other world where we've been so many times before. And we meet, as we have so many times before, loved ones on so many different levels. The elements, the elementals, the guardians, the gods. My patron likes to meet me there too. I am of the school of setting aside place and time outside of place and time, and my circle is that for me. It's also a magnifier in the opposite direction. I can work on condensing energy in there, gathering it in around me and creating something that is just more intense than I create outside that circle. I can also have things come into me from the outside, send things out that are more, it feels like when you hold the magnifying glass until a beam of light starts that little tiny bit of smoke on what you're aiming at. It feels like that moment before the smoke, something is as powerful and intense as it can possibly be. Both in how I might feel it, bringing it together, and then releasing it and offering it. I like the sense of being in the cast circle as being within the universe. That something as huge as the universe becomes so small, and I'm in the middle of it and one with it, in a way that I understand it and feel it and touch it and reach out to it. That's how that space and time outside of space and time feels like to me. It's everything at my fingertips. Not just what I can touch and feel and know in this world that I walk. It's like being surrounded by mystery. There's also the power of being in that time and place that so many others are in, have been, will be in. You meet energy there that you know you've known before. You know it knows you. The spirit of others, the spirits of all who have honored the gods that I honored, are all there within that sacred circle that I have cast. My body, my physical, my mental, my spiritual one knows the circle, and I do believe my circle knows me. Something happens when we are together. I can be especially moved and inspired by what happens to me in a spiritual sense outside a circle, so I'm not belittling that. There's something about the circle magnifying what I already know, my own personal knowledge. More often to me, when I am in my cast circle, my inner voice is very pure and clear to me. Outside the circle, I'm often inspired from the outward direction. Something comes towards me and inspires me and moves me from the outside. But in the circle that I cast, I'm very often moved in two ways. I am moved from my inside out, and also it seems to be the place where my gods like to talk to me, to make their presence known. It's a construct. I've made it be that way. I know that. I know that. They can certainly talk to me anytime and any place they want, as I can talk to them. But I have created a pattern that the universe recognizes in my cast circles. I know that the universe goes up, and you just cast a circle, heads up, something's about to happen now. It's a calling. It's a calling to me, and it's a calling to the universe. No doubt what I do is influenced highly by the fact that I am a ceremonialist. I don't deny that. It's a tool that I use that works for me. I can work outside of that. But to be in the time and place that isn't of this time and place also has the benefit of that feeling of coming home when I return from it. I don't want to describe it as something as mundane as going to a place of work. Stepping aside from your house every day and going someplace where you go to work and get done what you want to get done. But in a sense, there is a feeling like that. Casting the circle and setting it aside as, I know what I'm about when I'm here. I have specific things I'm about when I'm here. And then when that's done, there is a beauty about returning to this place and this time, which is a great joy to me. I like the concept that through my life are the three worlds that I seem to come to know well. The physical one, that my body knows so well. The etheric one, which my spirit touches on. And then the place that is both of them and neither of them, that which I construct within my caste circle. That's speaking as a solitary. As a group practitioner, the beauty of being in a caste circle, where the energies of all those I love surround me and blend and become something totally else, well, that's another conversation altogether. But even as a solitary, the casting of a circle it's critical to me. I need it. I need what happens when I'm in it. And I say that knowing that I have constructed that. I've constructed my need for it. I've constructed how I do it. But the repeating pattern of casting, the way I do it, and I do it for every moon, and for every holiday, and for certain kinds of workings I do in between, it feeds my soul. It truly does. I wish you all mirth and reverence. Merry part.